We're those weirdos, a family of 7.
Nearly 3 years ago, we gave up our conventional lives to live, travel and work in our self-converted Sprinter van.
In July 2021, with the increase in travel restrictions caused by Brexit and the pandemic, we decided to buy off-grid land in Portugal to live a more sustainable lifestyle.
Follow along with our journey as we turn our beautiful but derelict land into our very own slice of off-grid heaven. Wildlands. Hello and good morning. In today's vlog, I'm going to take you around Wildlands and show you and introduce you to some of the trees that we have here. Right away behind me, all covered in this oak moss that you can see, I'm standing in front of a Holyoke, also known as a holm oak, Latin name Quercus ilex. The Holyoke has very beautiful bark, quite distinctive the way that it flakes and cracks. It's an evergreen tree and it's native to Portugal. If I get really close up to these leaves, they stop blowing in the wind, you can see why it's called a Holyoke, because the leaves are shaped vaguely like holly leaves and they are kind of pointy. They have sharp, jagged edges. The Holyoke has hardwood and has been used for thousands of years for tools, wagons, wine casks and firewood. And you can see here this branch is younger. You see the difference in the bark. We've got hundreds of these in Wildlands. They do shed acorns. Hollyoaks are one of the top 3 trees planted in truffle orchards. So it might be that we've even got truffles growing right beneath our feet and we don't know it. The tree behind me is a cork oak, Quercus suber, and it is where cork comes from, surprisingly enough. You can see this line where the cork was going to be harvested some time ago, not by us, by persons unknown, and obviously they failed, or it wasn't ready, or it didn't come off, so they've left it. And look at the fantastic texture. See how deep some of these crevices are. It's so beautiful, this cork. And if I take you over to this one, you can see the absolutely gorgeous cork here. And down here you see a line. And everywhere underneath that line, cork at the top. Here, it's been harvested. Again, persons unknown, I don't know how many years ago. Usually they're marked, but if these ones were marked, it's long since gone. But you can see where it's been splitting. It's actually ready to be harvested again, I think. So I think all that they do to take the cork off is they just cut a line through the cork and then it just peels off. And then it's used to make corks in wine bottles, cork tiles, anything else like that. The last thing I'd like to note about the cork oak is that they're known as pyrophytes, which means that they survive fires very well because of their thick cork covering, which could be why they've survived so well in Portugal. Prizes for guessing what the next tree is. Olive trees. Olea europea. We've got hundreds of these all over the land. Some of them are in a state of disrepair, some of them haven't been pruned or looked after for a long, long time. Other ones don't look like they're in such bad shape, and they're actually covered in olives, thick with olives. And we're going to have a go at picking them and brining them in the next couple of weeks. One of the oldest olive trees in the whole of the entire world is actually only an hour and a half's drive from us in a place called Mariscus in Portugal. It's estimated to be about 3,500 years old. That means it was planted at the beginning of the Atlantic Bronze Age, which is just insane. So now that we've found that out, we're going to plan a little road trip to go and visit it. Olive wood is very hard. It's very good for burning, very slow burning because it's such hard wood. It's got an absolutely beautiful grain pattern through it, so it's also very prized for carving into bowls or utensils or whatnot. You can see this tree needs love. It might even be beyond help. It's got lots of bare branches, and it's been severely overtaken by this oak moss, which I will show you a little bit closer. But I've researched it, and oak moss doesn't appear to be, it's not parasitic. It grows by itself on the surface, it doesn't break through the bark. So I think the tree was already dying and then the oak moss grew. Having said that, although this trunk does look like it's suffering, all around the bottom it's got all little suckers and shoots, some of which look a few years old. So I think the plan is just to prune all of the trees that we can during the winter and see what happens next year. Next on our list of trees that grow on our land is the pine. This one's the Maritime Pine. You find them a lot all over Portugal. They're grown in plantations and they spread quite happily by themselves. So they're grown mainly for firewood and for timber and for turning into toilet paper, sadly. They can get the pine processionary moth, so that is something that we're keeping an eye out for, although the whole time we've been on the land we haven't seen any sign of them apart from one moth. So we haven't seen the processionary caterpillars, although when we arrived it was a bit late in the year for them, but we also haven't seen any sign of nests in the trees, so that's a really good sign. You can make a decoction, which is basically a tea from pine needles. It's said to be very good, very high in vitamin C and A, very good for your health. I can show you how to do that in a future video if you like. But simply put, you strip some of the needles off of the brown wood that you can see there, you chop them up into short chunks and you steep them in a cup of boiled water, and then you drink the water. I'm going to take you to see this pine over here because it's growing next to the next tree that we're going to talk about, if I don't fall over down a rabbit hole. It's a very beautiful baby pine. And he's growing next to a little stand of eucalyptus. Long-time watchers of our channel will know that we originally decided to cut this tree down. We said that it was too much of a fire risk and the oils in it are very volatile, which is all true, but it is literally the only one that we have on our whole land. So we're actually not that worried about it anymore. It's so far down on the land. If it's spontaneously combusted and we've already cleared away all of the scrub and the dead pine wood, then all there is left to burn is nothing. There's granite, surrounded by miles of, well, not miles, but surrounded by a wide area of granite. And the benefits that it brings is its pollen. It's very, very necessary for the local bees and butterflies to find pollen and nectar, and eucalyptus provides it in abundance. So we're going to hang on to it. We also had some comments from some of our watchers who said that you can make a nice tea with it, and I find a couple of branches hung in the shower are very nice as well. So that's it for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed having a peek around Wildlands and a look at the most abundant trees we have here. I'm going to leave you with 2 minutes of peace, and I'll see you in a couple of days.